Rajasthan. A war of words taking place in and ahead of the elections that are supposed to take place in just a few days from now. The Prime Minister made a remark in Barmer that the Congress is now responding to. We'll tell you that remark first. While he was in a election rally in Barmer, the Prime Minister said that जैसे उन्हें फांसी दे रहे हो, ऐसे कमल के निशान पे button दबाओ. Basically, press on the button of the lotus symbol, vote for us in the BJP as if you are sentencing them to death. Them, obviously he's referring to the Congress, the opposition, the party in power. Now, the Congress has taken exception to this remark. They've said, how can a person holding a responsible position like the Prime Minister talk about hanging people through voting? This is Jairam Ramesh who's made this statement. He's the Congress MP. He also heads communications for the Congress. He's put this out on X, on Twitter. He's put this statement out. That back and forth we'll watch carry on again and again in the days leading up to the elections. Now we'll bring you more context on this. You'll remember the back and forth about comments. The Prime Minister just a few days ago, while he was in Madhya Pradesh, had made a statement about Rahul Gandhi. Also, we saw the Congress rebuttal to that. This is very much per the day, per what we see play out before elections. But remember, what's particularly interesting in the Rajasthan elections in just a few days from now, on one side you have the Congress, you have Ashok Gehlot, the sitting Chief Minister, and Sachin Pilot, the former Deputy Chief Minister, and seeming tensions between them. On the other side, you have the BJP. Now remember, Rajasthan typically follows a tradition of switching houses. So it goes from Congress to BJP, BJP to Congress every election. The BJP obviously has a different, very interesting problem. Who's going to lead the BJP? Who's possibly going to be the Chief Minister you will face? For now, the BJP is running the elections under the Prime Minister's face, as we're seeing them do in a number of other states like Madhya Pradesh and Chhattisgarh. But who will they have lead? You have a few different leaders, Arjun Ram Meghwal, for example, Vasundhara Raje, for example, who are key BJP leaders. Vasundhara Raje, obviously a former Chief Minister. But whether or not the BJP will decide to go with her or go with other faces, that will obviously remain the question. Rajyavardhan Rathore being yet one more option for the BJP. That's what critics are looking at very interestingly in Rajasthan. Now, there are a few issues that form the center of concern in Rajasthan itself. You have some familiar issues, for example, the safety of women. That's been a big charge. We'll go over more once in just a few minutes to what are the key issues in Rajasthan. Right now, my colleague Pallavi with us, joining us for more context. Pallavi, Jairam Ramesh leading the charge right now from the Congress, saying that these remarks are absolutely uncalled for. Pallavi, can you tell our audiences the remark that we saw the Prime Minister make where he said, press on the button as if you're hanging them, essentially. Is that statement out of sorts for the kind of statements we usually see from top-level leaders in the run-up to elections?
Look, we have just a couple of days really left to go as far as the voting in Rajasthan is concerned, which normally sees a cyclical pattern, but the Congress has not given up on that state as yet, which is why in the next few days you're going to see a lot of acrimonious comments between the Congress and the BJP, because pretty much a straight fight between them. Now, the Prime Minister was speaking in Barmer, and Barmer we know is a border area which also a very large number of Faujis or the armies over there, and the Prime Minister has been consistently attacking the Congress party for being soft on terror and also being soft on those who are considered to be anti-nationals. And within that context, he was talking about the fact that a vote for the Congress party means you're going to be voting for terrorism, and therefore you need to vote against the Congress party with a vengeance, which is whether it's crime against women are concerned, whether it's a question of paper leak and corruption in Rajasthan is concerned. Clearly, that hasn't gone down very well with the Congress. They are mulling approaching the Election Commission, but for now, Jairam Ramesh has said that this is equivalent to hate speech coming in from the Prime Minister, which means that Election Commission must suo motu step in. You cannot use these kind of words against your political opponent, no matter what may be the provocation.
Can you tell our audiences, Pallavi, as you touched on, this is a state that usually switches parties every election cycle. What has been the Congress's strategy to tackle that this time?
Well, one, they have not announced any CM phase because they know that there is an anti-incumbency against Ashok Gehlot. So they really want to keep the guessing game going. And also there's a sense within the Congress party that a Pilot versus Gehlot fight has given an ammunition, one to the BJP, and the second, of course, is that it may have led to a lot of wastage of time. So they want to avoid that. But apart from that, the formula which worked for them in Karnataka and in Himachal about wooing women, guarantees, all of that is being applied. You must have been seeing those hoardings and at the Rath Yatra. 7 districts have been marked out where all these Raths are going. So 7 guarantees is what they're talking about. Gehlot, of course, is emerging as the main face because he's a sitting chief minister, but increasingly pilot is also being used. And just yesterday, Rahul Gandhi made the point that we're going to sweep the state and all of us are united. So those 7 guarantees, lots of SOPs for women and lots of promises to youth, jobs, cylinders, all of this is a formula which the Congress party hopes can be used to counter this narrative of cyclical pattern and also to come back to power in the state once again.
Pallavi, can you also tell us, you were on the ground in the last few weeks in Rajasthan, when you were speaking to locals in different regions, which direction was the wind blowing in?
Very tough to say that, because if one thinks that the Congress party is going to be completely lagged behind, I never got that sense of strong anti-incumbency against Ashok Gehlot per se. Yes, there's a lot of anger against many of his ministers, some of the sitting MLAs, and one would have thought that perhaps the Congress party would have denied tickets, but that requires a lot of courage. In Rajasthan, it's very difficult for the Ashok Gehlot to do so, because Gehlot, remember when that famous rebellion happened, had promised many of those MLAs that you stand by me, you don't defect, and I'm going to ensure that you have your tickets. So he had to keep that promise. Will that have a bearing on the chances of the Congress party? That remains to be seen. But for now, the focus is largely Gehlot centric, which is why he's campaigning extensively. There's a hashtag and a Twitter handle which has also been created called Gehlot Fir Se. But at the same time, as far as tapping the almost 66% voters between the age group of 18 to 39, that is where Sachin Pilot is being used extensively, slowly but slowly. So that's the strategy of the Congress party. But is a cyclical pattern. There are 2 things which matter: women's safety and the paper leak issue. That's where the young voters come in. Plus the fact that the BJP is making the point that, the Gehlot Sarkar has not been able to provide an effective governance. So that is why both of them as of now are very much in the race.
Okay, Pallavi, can I ask you to stay with us? We'll play out what it is that the Prime Minister said, then we'll return to you in just a second.
आपको सजा देने का मौका मिला है। सबसे पहले सजा देने का मौका आपको मिला है। कमल के निशान पर ऐसे बटन दबाओ कि उनको सजा पक्की हो जाए। जैसे उनको फांसी दे रहे हो ना, ऐसे कमल के निशान पर बटन दबाओ।
Okay, let's go back to my colleague Pallavi to understand more. Pallavi, you were just highlighting right now 2 Rajasthan-specific issues. One is the issue of corruption. We saw that Red Book controversy play out just a few months ago, where you had a leader come out and say that there was a Red Book that held all of the corruption that the Gehlot government had done. That died down very quickly, but there's also the issue of women's safety. Rajasthan has some of the most horrendous numbers when you compare it to other states across the country. Pallavi, when you spoke to people on the ground, was it issues like that, or was it common man issues like price rise, like unemployment, that you think will be what the election is made and broken on?
Yeah, I think you're right. Different sections are affected differently. Like in Kota, which is a coaching center hub, I never found the paper leak issue to be that much of an issue over there, because people were still coming there with a lot of hope. But there is a section which is very upset because people do want government jobs, and with this paper leak, they feel that their opportunity is lost out. Also, some of the big names and those considered close to Ashok Gehlot, whether it's a state Congress chief Govind Singh Dotasra, his own son Vaibhav Gehlot, all of them are under the scanner. In fact, the investigations or the ED summons have already taken place. So the BJP has built up this narrative of corruption against the Congress government over there. But you're right, at the end of the day, state elections are really about local issues, about jobs, about price rise.
Pallavi, can I just ask you to wait with us for a second? I believe we have Congress leader Rashid Alvi who's with us right now. Sir, thank you for joining us this afternoon on CNN News 18. So I just want to understand from you, the Congress putting out a statement, that the kind of statement that the Prime Minister has made, where he said that if you want to hang them, essentially press the BJP button, that kind of statement should not be allowed. We want to see action from the EC. So your first reaction to this, I also want to ask you, sir, do you think that this remark can be dismissed as just a usual remark leaders make at a time of election? Do you think it needs to be treated more seriously, sir? Do go ahead.
It is very unfortunate. I am unable to understand why Prime Minister is giving such kind of statements. He is not a leader of Bharatiya Janata Party only. He is Prime Minister of the country. What he is saying that वोट ऐसे डालो जैसे फांसी दी जा रही है. What does it mean? He is playing with the constitution of this country. Only because he is Prime Minister, he can speak whatever he wants to speak. This is absolutely a hate speech. I strongly condemn his speech. He is Prime Minister. उन्हें अपनी गरिमा का ख्याल रखना चाहिए. He is playing a very dirty game just to capture the power.
Sir, Jairam Ramesh has said the EC needs to take action. They need to take strict cognizance. May I ask you, sir, what does the Congress hope that strict cognizance will actually look like?
Hello.
Mr. Alvi, are you able to hear me, sir?
Yeah.
Sir, I want to ask you
what
kind of action do you want to see from the EC on this, sir?
Election Commission should take action immediately. But I know this very fact also. Election will not take any action. Because unfortunately, this government has complete control over all agencies, including Election Commission and ED and Income Tax Department, CBI, etc. So, but according to the Constitution, Election Commission should take action against him.
Okay. And sir, let me just ask you one last question here, sir. Rahul Gandhi, we know now, is stationed in Jaipur, and your opponents, the BJP, were trying to say that that's a sign that your party is worried. How would you respond to that, sir?
Actually, your voice is not clear, but what I have understood, Bharatiya Janata Party and its leadership, they are scared of Rahul Gandhi. They can speak, they never inform the people that what are the achievements, what have they done. They just criticize Congress Party and Gandhi family. This is the achievement of Bharatiya Janata Party.
Okay.
So they are in habit to criticize Rahul Gandhi, Sonia Gandhi, Priyanka Gandhi. But now people have understood, and now definitely on 3rd of December, when result is coming, Congress Party will form the government in all these states.
Okay. All right. Mr. Alvi, if I could ask you to stay with us, let's very quickly play out what it is that the Prime Minister has said.
आपको सजा देने का मौका मिला है. सबसे पहले सजा देने का मौका आपको मिला है. कमल के निशान पर ऐसे बटन दबाओ कि उनको सजा पक्की हो जाए. जैसे उनको फांसी दे रहे हो ना, ऐसे कमल के निशान पे बटन दबाओ. या उपले का.
Okay, the Prime Minister making that remark, and as we've just played out for you what it is that Jairam Ramesh has to say in return. We've been bringing you this context over the last few days. You might remember Rahul Gandhi, senior Congress leader, has now positioned himself in Jaipur. He's overlooking the Congress efforts in Rajasthan. As we speak, elections are carrying out in 5 states. We've already spoken about Mizoram and Telangana, where it will be a regional question. But you have 3 other states, Chhattisgarh, Madhya Pradesh and Rajasthan, where you have what seems like a bipolar context. Now remember, in Rajasthan and in Chhattisgarh, right now the Congress is in power. In Madhya Pradesh, they're not. And when it comes to Rajasthan, so these are the 3 states that the Congress is trying to keep a very, very keen look at right now. And when it comes to Rajasthan in particular, there is a hope that they'll be able to change a pattern that Rajasthan sees every single election cycle. Now, I believe we have some breaking news for you. This is breaking news that we've got coming in from Jammu and Kashmir. Let's take a look.